So I'd like to just make a short video today about the trap of nihilism and weird philosophies. So I guess that everyone here on YouTube has been exposed to some weird or fucking niche philosophies, either via YouTube videos or via books or just some random interview you heard of someone. And I guess that in 2026 it is great to try and look for something to hold on to latch onto. A different, sense of reasoning, something to give us a bit of clarity and direction in this world. But there's a lot of hacky shit out there, bruh. Some stuff that might make sense on the surface level, but once you start deeply trying to implement it into your life, it does become very problematic. So, a thing that's been going around a lot, like I've been noticing it in a lot of the media we consume, movies, series. A lot of people make videos about it. Everyone's talking fucking Dostoevsky and shit. That nihilism is quite out there, bruh. It's everywhere. I know I've been watching Rick and Morty, and for the past however many seasons of this flippin' show, it's just been a core tenet, and they try and make it seem cool and insightful and, intellectual. And I feel like it's a very lazy form to intellectualize the world into a very nihilistic light. Because yes, it can be argued that everything is meaning, but we also assign meaning to it. Everything is pointless, but you have to search for the point. And that's the thing, if you're just gonna write it off simply through a nihilistic lens, life is gonna become very depressing and meaningless. I feel like if you are gonna read into nihilism and that type of shit, you need to have the nuance, the critical thinking to go beyond just one theory, one philosophy, and incorporate it all, see the world for what it actually is. Because the way I like to frame it, or the way I like to see things is, yes, if things might be nihilist, things might be pointless, things might have no meaning, it gives you the freedom to attach any meaning, any point to whatever you are doing. Meaning that it empowers you for everything to come from within, for you to then have, the responsibility is now on you to have to search for something more meaningful, to search, to attach meaning and point to anything that you do. And you know what? The world is a flippin' beautiful place. Because I was just reflecting on it now. I wanted to plan a true hike for sometime next year, where I want to actually get myself the gear I need to hike out for about 3 days, like a weekend in the summer here in South Africa. And then the thought did cross my mind, like what's the point? What's the point of going to sit in a bush and sleep in a tent for 3 days and shit? And I was like, yeah, it's easy to just look at everything like, what the fuck's the point? Why am I doing it? Is it really going to make me any happy? Is it going to make me any less happy? But then I thought about it, like, nihilism is a very lazy way to think about the world, because if you're just going to stop initially at what's the point, because obviously everything has no point when you just glance over it. You'd wonder, like, why are people into a certain musician? Why are people into a certain philosophy? Why are people into a certain way of dressing, a certain way of talking? It all is essentially pointless, but we create the point out of it. So then I started thinking deeper into this trap and being like, you know what? I really love the challenge. And it's something that's been on my mind for a long time. I think it's really cool. So when I actually get into doing it, it's first of all the build up to it, because obviously I have to go get the gear, and I think that's going to be an exciting thing. I mean, who doesn't get excited by fucking capitalistic buying and shit? But yeah, I'm gonna get my shit, get my whole gear, plan out the route. That's another interesting thing. On the route, it's going to challenge me in ways I've never been challenged before, because yes, maybe I can hike for 6 hours straight, but have I ever tried hiking for 8 hours 3 days in a row? No, I haven't. It's going to be facing different terrains that I've never faced before, different inclines, different challenges. I'm going to have to also brainstorm and think on the spot, like if I want to traverse a certain path. That challenge of also setting up camp and sleeping a night in pitch black darkness and seeing the sky, that's also going to be interesting to me, because I don't think I've ever been to a place where you completely devoid of city lights. So when you look up at the night sky, you can actually see stars. I actually don't know if it's still even possible in 2026 to see stars out there, but it's something I want to experience. What else can come from this whole journey and trip is that satisfaction, the satisfaction of each day completing the hike, completing the kilometers that you set out to complete. It's like these micro accomplishments And then also the whole overall thing of completing the entire 3-day hike. It's like not something that everyone does. It's not something that everyone's interested into. But for some reason, I'm interested in doing it. And the fun thing is like if I actually get it done and I reflect back on it, like shit, I could put myself to the challenge. I could do it. So fuck, my brain will think into like if there's a zombie apocalypse and something and I need to fucking track my way on foot to Pretoria because there's a fucking CDC in Pretoria and that's where shit is gonna get saved. I can fucking survive the zombie apocalypse in the bush, my bro, on the way to Pretoria. But I think also the thing is, it's about having a goal. Like when you set out on a hike, you know you have your goal of an end line. So it's not like you're just aimlessly walking without a path. You know there's a path, you have to find the path and you have to track it for however many kilometers up until it's complete. But now the beauty of it is, even though you know you have an end destination, every time you reach a new peak or new summit or some new scenery, you get to take a break, you get to take it in. And that's, I think, the best form of meditation is you're not just being mindless or empty in your brain, it's being fully locked in the moment. So we know we have that goal, but it's also about staying mentally focused, because obviously you have to pay attention to your trail, you have to pay attention to your elevation, you have to pay attention to how much water you have left, you have to pay attention also to how much you're straining your system, because you don't want to burn out in the first 5 kilometers and then you fucked up for the next 20 kilometers. So it's also about pacing, and there's like so much that goes into it. And yes, off the surface, if anyone looks into me like, what's the point? Why are you going to spend 3 days in the bush? You can just blom at home, or you can just go out, or you can go for a movie or some shit in that weekend. It's like, yeah, these aren't really things I'm interested in, but this is what I'm interested in. And that's the funny thing about life is it's easy to look at other people's lives and judge it and say like they're doing pointless shit, or what's the meaning behind what they're doing. And we just like write it off because we don't understand it. But each of us do our own weird, quirky shit, things that we find will spark our spirit that doesn't make sense to anyone else. To other people, it might also just seem as something pointless and meaningless. But I think that's the human thing. It's about finding meaning, finding point in whatever we're doing. It's setting up these little fucking goals, challenges for ourselves, because I mean, we're here for a finite amount of time. Might as well just experience the world in any which way we can. And yeah, it motivates me, because if there's a lifestyle I want to have where I'm constantly going for new trips, new hiking adventures, it's very difficult to do it with a 9 to 5, 6 days a week, you know. I have to carve out a gap in my life, or carve out a career path for me where I do have the freedom to actually enjoy this lifestyle. But it goes beyond that, because I can't just be a lazy bum and then expect myself to be able to hike 50 Ks in a day or 2 days. I have to lock in mentally throughout the year as well, you know, take care of myself, go for a gym, go for a run, practice walking with a pack, you know, just so when the time comes for me to actually be out there in the bush, I can make the most out of it. Yeah, that's just my 2 cents for today. Like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know where I was going with this whole video.